Do those concerns that Senator J.D. Vance was voicing there have merit? Could potentially a dangerous precedent be set if these frozen Russian assets are indeed used to fund Ukraine's war effort?
I don't believe so, Kailey. It's good to be with you and Joe. I think the argument made by Senator Vance is not a good one. We're not tying the president's hands. We're giving the president flexibility in using Russian sovereign assets that have already been frozen. We're going to put those in an account, and that account can be used for the benefit of Ukraine, working with Ukraine and other financial partners in Europe. This is a more flexibility for the president, not limited. And I don't believe it ties anyone's hands. And I was pleased to see Jeremy Hunt supported on behalf of the United Kingdom. And today, just today in Europe, the Council of Europe voted to support the idea of seizing Russian sovereign assets, putting them in a fund for the benefit of Ukraine.
So where's this going here, Congressman? We're all waiting, as you are, of course, for text. As early as this evening, we understand from those who are going to be writing these spending bills that will include Ukraine. Will the REPO Act be attached to that, or does that come after, when all the body parts are stitched back together into some sort of Frankenstein?
Well, we need to see what Speaker Johnson's final decision about the legislative text, as you say, and also the legislative process on the House floor. He's voiced support for REPO because I think it's in the interest of American taxpayers and French taxpayers and German taxpayers to use frozen assets by the perpetrator, the Russians. Some $300 billion available in Europe and the United States for the benefit of Ukraine. We've done this before. We did it when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, pursuant to a United Nations Security Council resolution, and we did it in the aftermath of the Iranian hostage crisis in Iran back in the late 70s, early 80s. So there's precedent, there's international leadership on this. So I believe that REPO will be included, and we hope to see that in the text. But as to where in the text, Joe, we have to wait and see what Speaker Johnson's final decision is.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if that text can indeed come out today, and then allowing the 72-hour period to read it, if you will be able to vote on this by the end of the week. There also is the question, Congressman, of the consequence if this is put on the floor for a vote, if that will trigger the motion to vacate. That Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, is the one who initially moved on that. But Thomas Massie, your other Republican colleague, suggested today that he will endorse that effort and join her. How concerned are you now today relative to before Thomas Massie said that about the prospect of once again seeing the Speaker of the House vacated?
I just don't think it's in the interest of the Republican Party or the 2024 campaign season or in President Trump's presidential election aspirations for the House Republicans to throw another speaker out of office. That makes no political or good judgment to me. Mike Johnson inherited some critical issues because 8 Republicans teamed up with Democrats to toss Kevin McCarthy out of office last October. Those were fiscal 24 spending, the foreign intelligence surveillance reauthorization and reform, and now the defense supplemental for Taiwan, Israel, and Ukraine. Mike Johnson is doing a very good job with the hand that he's been dealt. And I don't believe that justifies him being thrown out of office again. I think that would hurt the Republican cause in 2024, hurt President Trump's presidential campaign, and do nothing to advance the Republican mission here on Capitol Hill.
Congressman Hill, we saw articles of impeachment go from the House today to the Senate for the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. And this happens at the same time that President Biden refuses to accept Congressman Jim Comer's invitation to testify in what appears to be his own impeachment proceeding here. We heard from the White House, the special counsel to President Biden wrote a letter back to Jim Comer saying your impeachment investigation is over. Is he right?
You know, I don't believe so. I think the Ways and Means Committee, the Oversight Committee headed by Jamie Comer, and Judiciary Committee headed by Jim Jordan are still following the leads that they developed in the investigation of Hunter Biden's laptop and the whistleblowers, the IRS whistleblowers. They're trying to get to the bottom of that. And actually, President Biden should be grateful that the House called and asked his opinion for testimony and provide documents, because I'm not so sure the Democrats provided any such discretion to President Trump, and there are two impeachments there. So due process is important. Even though there's no due process right per se, it's still important to see that done, I think.